So when you're shopping for a new construction home, there are some common misconceptions that can end up costing you serious money. And I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars in some cases. So today, I want to clear up 6 of the biggest myths I hear from buyers every week, because understanding these can literally save you more money than most people make in several months. All right, so I'm Steve Enchin, your Southern California new construction home expert, and every week I talk with people just like you and help them buy an amazing new home, and we have a great experience doing it. Now, I've been specializing in new construction for years here in Southern California, and I've seen buyers make the same costly mistakes over and over again. So let's talk about what you really need to know before you visit your first model home. So, myth number 1, the advertised price is what you'll actually pay. So you've probably seen those billboards driving down any of our area freeways. They say like new homes starting at $799,000 or from the 600s. But here's a reality that builders don't want you to understand up front, that starting price rarely reflects what you'll actually invest in your new home. In fact, in my own experience, most buyers end up spending 5 to 15% more than that advertised price. So let me give you a real example. I had clients last year who saw advertising for homes on a billboard starting in the 700s in a Riverside community. They budgeted about $750,000 thinking they get a nice home with maybe a few upgrades. But by the time they walked through the models and saw what they actually wanted, they were looking at $800,000. And that's not because the builder was being deceptive. It's because that advertised price was for the absolute base model. And when I say base model, I mean base. We're talking builder grade carpet in the bedrooms, vinyl sheet flooring in the main areas, really basic appliances that you'd find in an apartment complex. There's just standard lighting and fixtures. So the kitchen might have like really basic cabinets with no molding, standard, really dark, ugly granite countertops, and those appliances, they technically work, but they aren't exactly models you choose for your own home. So when you tour those really beautiful model homes, remember that what you're seeing represents a carefully curated showcase of the available upgrades. That stunning kitchen with a quartz waterfall island, stainless steel appliances, that custom tile backsplash, that can easily be $25,000 in upgrades right there. And that gorgeous flooring throughout the house, add in another $25,000. The enhanced lighting package, upgraded bathroom fixtures, the premium paint, you're looking at another $10,000 to $15,000. Now, I'm not saying upgrades aren't worth it. Many of them absolutely are, depending on what you personally prioritize and how you really be using the home, but you need to budget realistically from the start. So I always tell my clients to add at least 20% to that advertised starting price when they're determining their budget, or we need to find a community that is priced less so we have more room to add options and premium lots. So here's what I recommend. Before you fall in love with anything in the mobile homes, ask to see the base specifications for the floor plan that you're interested in. Most of builders have these available in the sales center. They'll show you exactly what comes standard and what's considered an upgrade. So this helps you understand the true starting point and make informed decisions about where to spend your upgrade dollars. Now, myth number 2, lot premiums are just a small add-on. And this is something that catches a lot of buyers off guard, especially first-time home buyers who haven't been through this process before. So you find the perfect floor plan, you're comfortable with the base price, and then you discover the lot that you want comes with a lot premium. So lot premiums can range anywhere from $1,000 and up to $100,000 or more, depending on the location and the specific advantages of that lot. In Orange County communities, I've seen lot premiums of well over $100,000 for homes that back up to an open space. In Riverside County, a lot with that mountain view may carry a $50,000 premium. So corner lots, cul-de-sac locations, larger lots, view lots, all of these fees will typically come with additional charges. So the challenge is that builders don't always make this clear up front. So we need to make sure we're looking at the price sheet for that specific lot that you want to find out the actual price for that home. So I had clients who recently found the perfect home in a Chino community, but the lot they wanted, which backed up to an open space, carried a $45,000 lot premium. And in the end, we were able to find a different lot in the same community that gave them pretty much most of the same benefits for what they wanted, and for a $15,000 premium instead. So that's like $30,000 savings just from understanding the lot premium and structure before making their final decision. And of course, being a little bit flexible. Now, myth number 3, builder sales representatives work for you. Well, this is probably the biggest misconception I encounter, and I want to be absolutely clear about something first. Most builder sales representatives are generally nice people who want to help you find a great home. They're not trying to deceive you or take advantage of you, but at the end of the day, they work for the builder exclusively, not for you. And that creates a fundamental difference in whose interests they're representing. Their job is to sell the builder's inventory at the best possible terms for the builder, and they've been trained in various sales techniques and scripts in order to convince you that there is no other choice. They're trained to maximize revenue per sale, to encourage upgrades that have the highest profit margins, and to keep the sales process moving smoothly for the builder's benefit. They are not your advocate in negotiations. They're not going to point out potential drawbacks with lot locations or floor plans. And they're not going to be there to help you through problems that might arise during the 4 to 8 month construction process. So let me give you a specific example of how this all plays out. So I had a client who was working directly with a builder sales rep who was pushing them towards a specific floor plan because it was the most popular, but for which they still had a few unsold inventory homes available for sale. So I don't know how popular it was, but the sales rep pushed these homes instead of listening to what the buyers wanted. And they used pretty aggressive scripts and sales techniques to trick the buyers by creating scarcity, urgency, and this fear of missing out, which made no sense given that the market isn't like that right now. And there were multiple unsold homes just sitting there. So in fact, there was no urgency or scarcity at all. So this is exactly why having your own representative matters so much in new construction, because you need someone whose only job is to represent your interests, someone who can guide you through finding the right home and builder, making the upgrade decisions objectively, negotiate on your behalf when possible, review all the contracts and timelines with you, and be there to help with any issues during the building process. And I've been through this process hundreds of times. I know which upgrades are typically worth doing during construction versus after. I understand how to read construction timelines and what delays to expect, and I know how to navigate the warranty process if issues arise after you move in. So most importantly, I'm working for you, not for the builder. Now, that leads us right into myth number 4. You'll save money by not using a realtor. And this myth frustrates me more than any other because it's so easily disproven, yet some builders, specifically Lennar, continue to perpetuate it, and you see it often talked about on Reddit or these other online message boards. So here's what some people might tell you either directly or indirectly. You'll save money on a new home if you don't bring a realtor with you. Well, this simply isn't true, and I can prove it to you with simple math, because the compensation for buyer's agents is already built into the builder's pricing structure. It's part of their marketing budget, and it's often a fixed amount that doesn't vary or change with the price of the home you're buying. And that's completely different from resale homes. Every new home community includes a budget for buyer's agent commissions, just like it includes allowances for advertising, model home maintenance, and sales staff salaries. So whether you have representation or not, you're going to see the same price listed. If you don't have an agent, that compensation amount doesn't just disappear and it doesn't get credited back back to you and it's not deducted off the price of the home. It just stays with the builder as additional profit. So you're essentially giving up professional representation for free while the builder pockets the money that was already allocated for your representation. Now, it's true. In some places like Texas and Florida, some of the smaller builders, the local ones, they can be pretty aggressive about convincing you to avoid bringing an agent. And maybe that's what you're reading about on Reddit or Zillow forums. But I can tell you that no home builder here in Southern California will give you a better price or a discount for not having an agent. It just never happens here. So what are you giving up for that free money you're giving the builder? Well, you're losing someone who can help you navigate the buying process and avoid overspending on low value improvements. You're losing someone who can review your purchase contract and construction timeline with you and help you get your questions answered. You're losing someone who can guide you through inspection options and the walkthrough process. You're losing someone who can coordinate with your lender and help ensure your financing stays on track during the construction process. And most importantly, you're losing someone who can advocate for you if problems arise. And problems do arise. Construction delays, quality issues, miscommunications, problems with quality discovered before closing. When you don't have representation, you're dealing with these issues alone, trying to resolve them with the same people who caused them in the first place. And here's something else that's pretty crucial. You need to bring your agent to your very first visit to any new construction community. Most builders, well, actually not most, all builders have policies that if you visit without representation first, they won't allow you to add an agent later. So if you walk into a model home unrepresented just to say, look around, you may have just locked yourself out of having professional representation for that entire community. So I always tell people, if you're serious enough about new construction to visit model homes, you're serious enough to have professional representation. And since it doesn't cost you anything to have that representation with a new construction home, there's literally no reason to not have an advocate on your side. All right, so going to myth number 5, the preferred lender always offers the best deal. Now, builders often have relationships with specific lenders and may offer pretty attractive incentives to use their preferred financing partner. And these incentives might include interest rate reductions, credits towards closing costs, or even some contributions towards upgrades. And sometimes these packages are generally excellent deals, but the word here is sometimes. The relationship between the builders and the preferred lenders is mutually beneficial. The lender gets a consistent stream of referrals, and the builder often receives referral fees or other considerations in return. So this isn't necessarily problematic since most of these lenders are actually owned by the builder, but it does mean the primary goal isn't always getting you the best possible loan terms. So I'll share a recent example. I had a client who pre-qualified through a builder's preferred lender at 6.75% with $3,000 in closing cost credits. The builder was really pushing this as a great deal, but when we shopped around, we found an outside lender who could offer them 6.25% with comparable closing costs. And over the life of their $600,000 loan, that half price difference in interest rate saves them a lot of money. So that builder's great deal would have cost them significantly more in the long run. But here's another consideration. The builder's preferred lenders sometimes have different underwriting standards or processing timelines that work better for the builder's schedule than for your financial situation. They may have stricter underwriting standards than an outside lender, and many refuse to participate in some of the first-time homebuyer programs, especially those with down payment assistance. So for some buyers, especially with poor credit, an independent lender might identify loan programs or strategies that could really save you money long term or get you into a new home when the builder's lender says no. Now, a couple of very important caveats. Right now, with interest rates higher and the market more balanced, the best deals and incentives will be from the builder's lender. There is really no comparison with very few exceptions. I I only know really of KB Homes, who is not really giving out competitive incentives today. Well, a lot of other builders are offering incentives of up to like 6% of the price of the home. That could be $45,000 or more in value to you. So there's just no way an outside lender will even come close to that. But if rates come down and the market is much busier and there's more demand, builders will scale back their incentives and you may find a better deal with an outside lender. Another very important caveat: if an outside lender cannot close on time, and this can be more common with lenders who work with some first-time home buyers or those with less than stellar credit, and your closing is delayed, it's you, the buyer, who will need to pay a daily closing penalty of up to $300 a day because your lender didn't process their paperwork in time. If the builder's lender is late and the reason is not due to you delaying paperwork, that delay won't be charged to you. But the important thing is having the information you need to make the best financial decision for your situation. Don't let anyone pressure you into financing decisions without doing your own comparison shopping. Now, finally, myth number 6, you don't need a professional home inspection. It's a brand new home. What could be wrong with it? Well, this is one of the most expensive assumptions buyers make, and it's based on the misconception that new construction means perfect construction. Yes, builders do conduct their own inspections throughout the construction process, as do city and county inspectors for code compliance. But it's really important to note there are limited opportunities to find cosmetic issues or more significant defects, because that final walkthrough that you do is not a quality control check, nor is it intended as an opportunity for you to look for cosmetic issues. That walkthrough is to introduce you to the home, where everything is, and how everything works. The builder will not want you going off script and getting distracted by cosmetic issues, which is why if the builder allows it, I would be off by myself putting blue tape on cosmetic issues that I find while you are doing the walkthrough with the builder. Or I would do that before or after your walkthrough as a separate visit. Now, professional home inspectors, which I'm not a home inspector. Professional home inspectors look at things most people miss. They check plumbing connections for proper sealing and correct installation, look for issues on the roof like missing or misaligned tiles or shingles. They test the HVAC systems to ensure they're properly balanced and operating efficiently. They look at structural elements, installation in the attic, and exterior components. Because even in new construction, I've seen inspectors find significant issues. Electrical outlets that weren't properly grounded, plumbing connections that weren't adequately sealed and could cause leaks later, HVAC systems that weren't properly balanced, meaning that some rooms would never heat up or cool properly, windows that weren't properly sealed, insulation that was poorly installed, creating energy efficiency problems. So I had clients last year whose inspector found their kitchen island electrical wasn't properly installed. The outlets worked, but they weren't properly grounded, and that could have been a safety issue. So the builder's inspection had missed this completely because the outlets appeared to function normally. But another client's inspector discovered that their master bathroom exhaust fan wasn't properly vented to the outside. It was just blowing humid air into the attic space, and that would have caused mold problems within a few years. Now, the cost of a professional inspection is typically about $400 to $700, depending on the size of the home, and that's really minimal compared to discovering major issues after you've closed and moved in, and then you're dealing with the warranty claims process. So here's the strategic way to handle this. Get the inspection done before your final walkthrough with the builder, about a week before. And that way, any issues identified by that inspector can be addressed by the builder as part of that construction completion process, rather than becoming a warranty claim later. And depending on the builder, I will say in most cases, I've never seen an inspection report on a new home here in Southern California that made me very concerned. Most items that were called out were easily repaired or adjusted, or the inspector found something that was actually done deliberately for a reason the builder would explain to you during the walkthrough. So the bottom line, and what this means for you, new construction can be an excellent choice for buyers here in Southern California. You get modern floor plans designed for how people actually live today, energy energy-efficient systems that save you money every month, contemporary designs and finishes, everything under warranty for peace of mind. But the difference between a great new construction experience and an expensive, frustrating one often just comes down to having the right information and the proper representation from the beginning. And when you understand what that advertised price actually includes, when you factor in the lot premiums from the start, when you have that professional representation advocating for your interests, when you shop your financing options, and when you get those professional inspections, you're positioned to make informed decisions that serve your best interests. I've seen buyers save a lot of money by understanding these realities and having experienced guidance throughout the process. And I've seen buyers who went in unprepared and end up spending far more than necessary in dealing with problems that really could have been avoided. And then they call me after the fact when I'm not allowed to help. There's nothing I can do then. So if you're considering new construction here in Southern California and you want someone who knows how to navigate these communities effectively, someone who understands the local market and can help you avoid these costly myths, my contact information is up on the screen. I'd be happy to discuss your specific situation and help you understand your options without any pressure or obligation. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.